with breaking news out of Suffolk County.
After weeks of searching for a killer who spread body parts over Long Island, police have made an arrest. CBS 2's Chinelle Browne live in Smithtown with the story for us. Chinelle.
Chris, 4 different body parts were found scattered here along Long Island over the last few weeks, many found by homeowners in their own backyards. Well, this morning, police believe they have the woman responsible for taking a young Brooklyn mother's life in her own backyard, and this woman, they say, was her neighbor. The discovery of the trail of body parts disturbing and unsettling for the Long Island residents who found them.
Oh my God, I was startled. I was shocked.
And now police confirm the dismembered torso found in a Bayshore parking lot are in fact the remains of 27-year-old Chinelle Browne of Brooklyn, a mother of 4 who had been missing since July 5th. 42-year-old Linda Cuevas, who lived in the same Bedford-Stuyvesant building as Browne, has been charged with her murder. Police have not yet revealed the relationship between the two.
This is crazy that people are running around dropping the body parts all around our area.
Police have not yet confirmed whether those other remains also belong to Browne.
On a warm July night in Brooklyn, a quiet apartment building became the scene of an unimaginable horror. What began as a dispute over rent money spiraled into a nightmare that left an entire community stunned and a family shattered forever. This is the tragic case of Chinelle Thompson Browne, a young mom whose dream of a better life in New York ended in a story almost too disturbing to believe. Let's get into it. "27-year-old Chinelle Thompson Browne was a beautiful wife and mom to 4 children. She and her family were from Guyana, and she had immigrated to New York in 2013 to make a better life for them, working in a Manhattan department store. Her husband and 4 children were planning to move to New York after their immigration paperwork was completed. In the meantime, Browne made ends meet and ended up renting a room in an apartment from a 42-year-old woman named Leah Cuevas. Cuevas was from Siparia, which is a town in southern Trinidad and Tobago. They resided at an apartment building at 346 Sumter Street in Brownsville, Brooklyn. Cuevas' uncle owned the Brooklyn building, but he had passed away. Since his death, Cuevas was said to have been illegally collecting rent money from tenants. It was said that Cuevas had forged the deed for the property, naming her the owner after the real owner died. Browne had diligently paid her share of the rent, but she eventually got fed up because there was barely any hot water and electricity in the building. According to a neighbor named Donald Watson, Browne refused to pay rent due to the lack of these necessities and saved her money so that she could move out. He stated she was tired of paying for lighting and having it go out, or the fridge going out and spoiling the food. Browne said she wanted to take her money and move out, but the landlord said no. She wanted the $200, but Browne said, "I need the $200 to move out." So on July 4th, 2014, they both got into a heated argument about the rent, and police were called, and things de-escalated where the women were separated. But things got much worse on the night of July 5th. According to witnesses, they saw Browne entering the apartment and then heard a confrontation. Cuevas allegedly stabbed Browne in the neck with a sharp instrument during an argument after Browne refused to hand over the rent money. According to prosecutors, Browne pleaded for her life, yelling, "No, Lee. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Moments later, a witness said she heard Cuevas yell an expletive, telling Browne to shut up, and then allegedly stabbed her with such force that she was decapitated. After the murder, Cuevas dismembered Browne and shoved her remains in a suitcase. She called for a taxi, and neighbors saw her exiting the building with the suitcase to meet with the driver. The driver, identified only as Ernesto, stated at the time that Cuevas came down with a suitcase wrapped in a heavy-duty plastic bag. He said that he didn't notice anything suspicious or anything out of the ordinary, only that she wanted to take the suitcase to Brentwood, Long Island. The driver recalled that the suitcase was slippery and that it slipped out of their hands. but it took both of them to be able to lift it and put it in the trunk. He took her to Brentwood, and from there, Cuevas scattered Browne's body parts across Bay Shore and Hempstead. What's messed up was that during her grisly mission, Cuevas stopped to run some errands. She stopped at a pawn shop where she was seen on video exchanging 2 of Browne's gold rings for $170. Then she stopped at a convenience store to buy lottery tickets. 3 days later, on July 8th, Browne's dismembered body was found by 2 people who were walking to the ferry in Bay Shore. They had discovered Browne's severed legs and torso in a vacant Bay Shore lot between a parking lot and the Fire Island ferry terminal. The next day, a severed arm was found on the lawn of a home on Webb Avenue in Hempstead. Another arm was found on July 10th in a yard on Cornell Street, about half a mile from the first arm. Then on July 17th, a human head was found in the yard of a home on Boylston Street, Hempstead. Browne was identified by the tattoos on her body. An autopsy determined that Browne died of homicidal violence. It was discovered that Browne had been stabbed more than 40 times. Her blood was found on the walls and in the hallway of Cuevas' apartment. Cuevas was then arrested and charged with second-degree murder. Cuevas' lawyer entered a not guilty plea on her behalf and insisted that the prosecution's case was weak and that she should be allowed out on bail, stating, "There are no eyewitnesses and no confession in this case." However, she did not receive bail or bond. Browne's husband, Dale, was at the arraignment, and he was troubled by what he had heard in court from the prosecution.
The prosecutor described the words that she screamed out. You can hear those words, you know. It's pretty animalistic, you know. It's a beast that did this.
During the trial, Browne's family members cried in court as they heard the alleged details in the case. Her husband, Dale, was especially distraught, saying, "I physically feel hurt from processing it. I have to rely on my faith to survive this. I can't do this in my flesh because I physically feel affected." In December 2014, Cuevas was later convicted and sentenced to 25 years to life. What happened to Browne wasn't just a crime of rage. It was a nightmare hidden behind the walls of an ordinary Brooklyn apartment. A young mom's life was stolen, her body scattered, and her dream of a better future shattered forever. Evil walked quietly among neighbors that night, reminding us that sometimes the real monsters aren't found in the shadows. They live right next door. That is all for now on this case. Let me know your thoughts on it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Your support is appreciated. See you next time on Melanin Mysteries.